I expect to win. I mean, you never know how it's gonna go. I've done it twice before, and sometimes the balls feel super hard, little cold in there. Sometimes it's not a real game, so sometimes it's hard to really engage like on that level. But this is, like I said, my third time doing it, and I want to win it at least once in my career. So hopefully I have a good night shooting the ball.
It's the 30th anniversary of hip hop. What's your earliest memory of hip hop?
My earliest memory of hip hop, I would say, I got a lot of family in Rochester, New York. So some of my older cousins, a few of them passed away now, but I just remember being really young, and whenever they would come to Oakland, they would always just be beating on their chest and rapping at the same time. Always like trying to get me to rap. Always playing Bone Thugs and the first of the month, and stuff like that. So that's always like my first memory of it. Just that East Coast. My cousins from New York always rapping and stuff. What song would I use out of my own catalog? I would say The Right One with Lil Wayne and Mozzie.
Karl, you might be wearing some purple tonight. You got the Weaver jersey coming out?
Yeah, I'm gonna do the 3-point shootout in my Weber State uniform, so I think that'd be pretty cool. I think the fans would get a kick out of that. Yeah. I think it's tough. In my first thought is the Aces, because they coming off a championship. They're a younger championship team too. Having Asia Wilson and Chelsea Gray and Kelsey Plum, and you add Candace Parker to that. It's a lot of depth. If this is my super team, I would probably put on the Aces uniform. And they in Vegas too, so that'll do it for me. The most memorable? I'm not much of a trash talker, man. I don't know. I would say our series against OKC, just because it was so much back and forth between the teams. Like during the game, post-game press conferences, we had a lot to say to each other, so I would say that.
What would be your advice to players at small schools made up against one?
My advice to players at small schools would be to just focus on the right things. I think now that there's been so many guys coming from small schools that have had success, when you look at Steph Curry, myself, CJ, Kawhi Leonard, it's been so many, Ja Morant, Paul George, it's a trend, they're looking now. So it's not like guys got to go out there and average 40 points or 30 points to be seen. So I would just encourage them to, for one, be good people, because at that level, there's going to be a lot of questions about who you are as a person. You won't get the benefit of the doubt of them looking past, some flaws or some things that they might hear when they do background. So I would say be a good person, be solid, and then I would say just play the game the right way. Just be productive, be effective, and win. And when you do that, that'll give you opportunity.
What's your WWE Mount Rushmore?
My WWE Mount Rushmore, Stone Cold Steve Austin. I'm going to say The Rock. I'm going to say Ric Flair, and I'm going to go with Undertaker.
You recently passed the record as the top scorer in Blazers history. Is it safe to say now that you're the greatest Blazer ever?
I mean, I think just being the all-time leading scorer in franchise history, I think that's a big part of it, but I don't think that alone makes you the greatest Blazer of all time. Personally, I think I am, but I don't think it's really a question that I can just give an answer to and say I am. I think the fans and the people who've, followed this organization for a long time, and they've seen me play enough and seen all of the other guys play enough, I think that's for them to decide. But, I think when it comes to the body of work, the consistency, the notoriety, the attention that I brought to that market, being a signature athlete, global ambassador for things, winning a lot of games, having a lot of individual success, and being able to do it over a long period of time. I feel like I've done everything but win the championship. So I feel that way, but I think that's for everybody else to decide.
This is Danish TV. A little context. We got a big viewing party back home in Denmark, and we set up our own skills challenge course. So as a former skills challenge winner, what would be your best advice for our participants?
I think the best advice to give in any skills competition is to not be too cool. The first 2 times that I did it, everybody that I watched, they tried to cruise through it and not look like they was trying too hard, and I tried hard. So I would say just go hard, because you want to get it in as fast a time as possible. So you got to try hard.
And the most important part is that the shooting, the passing, or the dribbling?
I would say the passing.
All right.
The passing. I mean, when I won the skills challenge, it was like actual hard passes. Now it's like pretty simple. But when the first time I did it was like 2013, and it was like actually an obstacle course. It was tough passes. It was a lot more to it than it is now.
Dan, what's this league wide in style? Can you talk about the impact he's made on the team, what you expect from him moving forward?
I mean, he's a first team all defensive player. He's blocking shots, he's getting steals, he's getting deflections. He's a good athlete. He's a smart defender. I think it's so many layers to the type of defender that he is, that it really helps our team, and it's something that we haven't had. And then he's also a guy that's, basically coming home. He's a Northwest guy. He's getting closer to home. I think it's, going to make him more comfortable and make him feel better about, where he is. And also getting opportunity. He's been a really good player since he's come in the league, but then not getting a lot of minutes in Philly. I think he's out to prove something. So in that position, I think it can only be positive for our team. It's actually kind of weird. Like, I was just in the locker room and I'm looking around and I'm like, I see Ja and Jaren Jackson, and then, it's Zion Williamson. I'm just looking around like, these dudes are really young, And it took me back to my first AllStar game. In my first AllStar game, it was like Kobe and like Dirk, these older guys that seems like they've been retired forever, So it was just a reminder that I'm getting old. That was it.
What do you say is the biggest trash talker in the three-point contest this year?
The biggest trash talker in the three-point contest? Who's all in it? I don't think it's no real trash talkers. If I had to pick one, like Buddy talk a little bit. I can see him being the most trash talking player that's in it, but I don't see him like trash talking in the three-point contest.
Talk about like getting respect in the three-point shooter now.
Getting respect?
Yeah, I know you talk about all the time how like you can shoot from 40. You're the top three-point shooter
Yeah.
in the league. People don't often give you that respect. Talk about like getting respect now.
I mean, well, they don't give me that respect. They never give me that respect on a lot of things, but I think the respect is shown by how they guard me. If you look at how guys are defended at that line, I feel like it's only one person who's defended like I get at the three-point line. So, that's, to me, that's not something that's about getting respect. That's just about what I believe to be true. I think it's one guy who's the greatest shooter of all time, and then after that, I feel like I can shoot with everybody else. That's left to talk about.
What's about getting up there in years and all that? Does that in context help you kind of what you want to accomplish with the time you have left, knowing that this next wave is coming?
I mean, I don't think that's ever changed for me. I think obviously when you're younger, you want to accomplish all of these different things. I want to be in an AllStar game. I want to play in the Olympics. You have all these different things you want to do as an individual. And I think as you get older, all of those things become, just a little bit less important, or lower on the priority list. And, you start to really want to experience being at the top, having a championship parade and stuff like that. And I think that's the only thing for me is I've always felt that way. So now, I do realize that as time goes by, I'm only going to get older. So I have been more urgent about, how I can get closer to that.
What's the most memorable bucket of your career?
The most memorable bucket of my career.
It's a lot.
It's a lot, but the one that I feel like is weird. It's weird that I would say this one, but like my actual first basket in the NBA, I made a corner three, but I stepped out of bounds, and I was like, now if I miss my next shot, like I might get off to a bad start. But like my first shot that I made in my career was a corner three, and I just happened to step out. So I would say that one. Just his size and his speed, how smart he was. Like he knew everything. You know, we would call a play and he would be pointing out to guys like, "Watch the pin down, watch this." You know, he just kind of knew what was coming. You know, and then I remember one play specifically. It was like a cross court pass, and he kind of deflected it, and he just kind of like took off on a fast break, and I was like running from the opposite wing. And he was moving so fast. It was like one dribble, and he was like 1-2, and he was just in the air. And he was, I think at that time, how old is LeBron now? 30, 38? At that time, I don't even think he was 30 at that time. So that was when I got up close to him, I was like, okay, like I see. I see.
Do you still see those flashes?
I think he's still a super athlete, you know, and I think what he does is still impressive, but it's not like it was. Like, and that's not to slight him. That just is to say how crazy it was to have an athlete that was doing that type of stuff. You know?
What is the best advice you've gotten, and who is it from? What is the best advice you've gotten, and who is it from?
The best advice that I've gotten was from, I would say, well, I don't know if this is the best advice, but it was great advice. I would say from my trainer, Phil Beckner. And it was simple. Face the music. Face the music.
What do you think about the AllStar draft? The way they've changed the captain's first? I mean, would you be embarrassed to get picked?
I mean, I think it's pretty cool. You know, it's old school park. You know, pick your team at the park. Like, and as far as getting picked last, I wouldn't care, honestly. I don't think it's, bro, what you doing over here, bro? He came from behind, bro. Came from behind the crowd.
Hey, I don't know if you saw the shot yesterday. I got a game with it. If it would have been valid, if I would have did the game.
I would have respected it, bro. You should have did it. You should have did it. I just don't like when people do it when they playing against me and they be trying to, like, you know what I'm saying, show me up. You should have did it, bro. You get a pass on the strength of CJ. Start bench cut my phone, laptop, or video game. I'm going to cut my laptop because I don't really use a laptop. And I'm going to bench my video game console, and I'm starting my phone. I think anybody would start the phone. Music? Video games, I play Madden. I'm hooked on Madden. I play 2K too, but like Madden is like what I'm hooked on. No, I don't play all them. Modern Warfare, all that. I'm a real athlete. I'm playing all sports games.
Is the player from NBA history you feel like he's forgotten and kind of underappreciated today that you grew up watching?
A player I grew up watching that's underappreciated, Nick Van Exel. He was cold and was one of the best point guards. You know, I just think he's forgotten. When I was coming up, I always loved Nick Van Exel. Loved his game, how crafty he was. He could shoot. He was, you know, an underrated athlete. And I just feel like people don't talk about him. You know, he don't get credit for the type of player that he was. Or Malone. Well, I would choose Malone because I could play with Malone. And don't Malone got like 36,000 points or something like that? Tank Davis or Ryan Garcia? It's a toss-up. I think I would give the edge to Tank because, you know, Tank is, you know, he's got they both have power, but Tank has a lot of experience at a high level of boxing, just with dealing with all the media, dealing with, you know, the pressure, big crowds and stuff like that. But Ryan, I think his size and his length and his speed and timing could be trouble for Tank, because Tank got to get close to him and he can get caught on the way in. So I think it's a toss-up. I think it's a 50-50 fight. What you got, bro? I'm going to skip them for you, bro.
I appreciate it. So, who you have winning the Young Dame or Trey Murphy?
Young Dame or Trey? Trey Murphy. I wasn't no dunker like that, bro. I squeezed into the dunk contest. I was in there.
Last thing, Drake, J. Cole,
J. Cole.
Dave, what city
Couple more guys.
Seattle.
what would you name it?
The Supersonics.
And all-time dunk contest, maybe past players, present, which one is it?
Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Zach LaVine, Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Zach LaVine, and James White, Flight White, in his prime now. Besides myself, who do I think has the best signature sneaker in the NBA? I really like Bron's new shoe. I really like his new shoe. And I've been seeing it a lot, too. I would say Bron. I'm not sure. There's just so many of them. You know what I mean? It's like the talent is crazy these days in hoop, especially a lot of these guys coming in. It's just hard to tell. I think it's a matter of who can stay focused, you know, who can keep their priorities in order and start taking those jumps, you know.
Last one, yo.
You said what? The last person on the Blazers that I would let babysit my kid, I would say Shaden. He will never babysit my kids because he's a baby himself.
You ever have to babysit him or not?
All the time. The only player on my team I would let babysit my kids is Nurk, because Nurk love my kids and he's a big teddy bear.
David, you consider, 18-year-old kid from the Cleveland State, what does it mean to you to have an all-star game here and come back? Kind of like you said, it's something that not full circle, but have
I mean, honestly, it's fun for me. You know, I think I always make my way back here because I've spent so much time here. I know so many people here, so many great memories here. So to be able to be in my 11th year and to, you know, be a 7-time All-Star and to have this experience, be here, you know, where a lot of the people that saw me kind of blossom from the beginning, for them to see me at this point and at this level, my career and as a man, you know, it's pretty special. You know, the people that I run into is like I met when I was 17 and they looking at me. I'm almost twice the age that I met them at. It's pretty cool. Actually, our trainer, when I broke my foot in college, the guy that we was playing NBA 2K together, 6 a.m. every morning in the weight room doing all this rehab stuff. He's actually the strength coach for the Kings. So I saw him in the back with De'Aaron Fox. It was like, that's crazy that, you know, we run into each other. You said what? Yeah, it does. It feels like home, like a homecoming. You know, I feel like if it was in Oakland, I would feel this way. You know what I mean? I think anytime All-Star Weekend is in a place where somebody connects with that place, you know, I think it's important to pay homage, you know, and to acknowledge that. And the fact that I lived here for 4 years, went to school here, you know, like I said, met so many friends and so many people that I still interact with and deal with on a personal level here. And just what I've laid down in this area, you know, on the Wasatch Front, I think it was just perfect. You know, it was perfect to be able to do that.